we are here joined by many youth representatives from different parties. I, for one, am Uluvira Binkana, your host and moderator for the day. We know that Namibia's elections are coming up in a couple of months, and therefore it's so crucial for us to address certain issues about Namibia's the nation's future. So we'll be tackling different issues such as job creation, unemployment, healthcare, etc. Right? So we are here joined by.
My name is Almeida Shilongo, hailing from the Great Rivers and Mountains of the Kunene region. I am a member of the Swabo Party Youth League Commerce region. I am a representative of the Windhoek West constituency under Social Enabled Education. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure.
Okay, and I'm Cecilia Nangolo, an advocate of humanity that believes that the cake is big enough for everybody to have a slice from it. Unfortunately or fortunately, I have decided to come on this platform as an independent candidate, which means that I will not be representing any party. But because I'm very much keen about issues related to youth and politics, this is what brought me here today on this platform. And I want to thank you very much for inviting me to come here. And I hope that whatever that I will share with you today will stand to make a difference.
Thank you so much for your presence. We have Mr.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for having us all here. I am Minnie, born and raised in the Hardap region. I am here representing the Landless People's Movement's youth wing. I am an activist for progressivism, progressive economy, policies, agrarian reform, and social democracy. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. So without further ado, we are going to get right into it, starting with the first topic, which is on economic development and job creation. Right. So how has your party addressed unemployment and created sustainable job opportunities for the young people of our nation?
Government has worked tirelessly with private sector as well as public institutions to increase job creation, and we have done this through the recruitment of the correctional service candidates, recruitment of the police force and the defense force. We have done this, making an equal selection and diverse selection from the different regions, all 14 regions. That has also helped with job creation. We have looked at internship opportunities. Government has allocated budgets to make sure that the youth is provided equal internships opportunities as soon as they are done with their studies at universities. And yes?
May I ask a question? Are we allowed to have POIs, POCs?
I don't.
Yes, because it's a discussion, so yeah, we can just.
So we can. I'd just like to ask the youth representative from the ruling party. You just stated that government has been working tirelessly.
It's okay. I'm not recording anything.
Oh.
Yes.
It's a bit distracting.
Okay.
Tirelessly to ensure that the youth get opportunities and so on and so on.
Yes.
Can you perhaps give us an estimate of how many young people have gotten internship opportunities? Because I have seen that there's been a track record in terms of the Namibian government and the hoa-Let government on exploitation rather than internship.
Exploitation of
yes,
what?
Of young people, because a young person is also a resource. So now you're getting into a company and you're there doing the company's work, but it's an unpaid internship. Hence, I will classify it as exploitation.
I cannot give you a precise figure, but there are laws that guide us as company owners or as business owners that state that you cannot have interns that are unpaid, right? Mm-hmm. Even as government, you are not allowed to just have people or students working without having any compensation at all. So if companies do not have a budget, that is now when profits are not high enough to allocate a budget, then they don't take in interns. Then again, it comes to someone's desperate need for an internship and they say, I can work without being paid, then that is something else.
Okay, so we would move to the next question that we have here. So what is your take on unemployment and youth unemployment and just like the creation of sustainable jobs for our young people?
Okay, when I look at the unemployment issue, number one, I want our government to be very honest with us who entrusted them with our votes in 2019. There isn't really, Namibia cannot really stretch itself where it is right now for what we call job creation.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't looked at where is the world headed to. The world is headed to digital, and we are very much behind with it. Many YouTubers and Instagrammers and all of that, just in our neighboring country at South Africa, they are getting paid for that.
Yeah.
But here people don't get paid. But this is an employment opportunity. There are people that literally relies on it. But here it's like the government cannot, the buildings are already there. The ministries are already there. The fact that the employment rate, we are currently having discussions based on the discovery of oil, and most of it, we don't even have it. There was something I read about Namibia taking 20% and then the other country taking 80%. So how do we think that in this situation we are ever going to create employment? There is nothing such as that. And I feel that as a leader, we ought to be honest with the people that have entrusted us with leadership, because there is nothing such in this current situation. If things continue to go the way they are in countries, if we can go to Europe and have a discussion about oil and gas, why can't we go to Europe and have a discussion about finding employment, or even just having that agreement to say we have our students in the arts, yes, that are very good. Can we then be selling to companies in Europe? What is that? I'm in Namibia, but I'm making money in Europe. And all this stuff written on paper, but what is the reality on ground? Where is the world headed to? Yeah. What is making our pulse to pump is young people. Young people are down and out when it comes to Namibia. Yeah. But what is it where is the world headed to? How can we come in as a country to help our people benefit from it? So we cannot rule Namibia today in 2024 like we were ruling it in 1990. There is what we call evolvement. But in our governance, it seems like we are not evolving. We are the same Namibia that we were in 1990.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Honorable Williams, will you tell us your stance on unemployment and job creation for the young people of Namibia?
Such a thought-provoking statement by the young lady next to me. And I must applaud you for the suggestions that you provided, and you speak so passionately about these issues. You see, it is quite disheartening to see the current employment situation that we have in the income inequality and the income gaps that we have in our nation. 34 years post-independence, young people are sitting jobless. But in the years 2022, 2023, the National Assembly can sit and debate things like retirement age, because some of our uncles and aunts and grandfathers don't want to get out of their positions because they have cemented themselves. They've put themselves there and it belongs to them. We also have the culture of entitlement in this country. So now I'll give you a point there. So now they've cemented themselves there, and we can't get our young people into these spaces. It is so difficult to transition from graduate into the labor market now, and it's so disheartening to see that.
Sure.
Even to
then
get
what
an
is the
internship.
point of me going to university?
Even before I continue, let me quickly give you the chance.
Yeah, on what you just said now, that people as the cabinet is only speaking on retirement.
I did not say only. Do not misquote me, ma'am.
Excuse me for that. But the point I want to make is all these things need to be discussed. All these things need to be tabled. So we cannot only speak on certain things, because what happens to the other things that you are saying are not being, should not be given much attention. So unemployment should be addressed. If it's gender-based violence, it should be addressed in cabinet. We cannot only just be one-sided and say we are only going to table or discuss unemployment.
That is not the conundrum.
Okay, let me just...
The conundrum is the views. It is the views expressed by individual members within the National Assembly. It is the views, not the topic of discussion, not the fact that it is being tabled, because as you said, it is a pertinent issue.
It's a current affair.
It
needs to be discussed in
okay.
cabinet.
I just really want to jump in. I always say this in our office, that all things are important,
Yes.
but some things are of a priority. Where are we in Namibia right now?
And what are our priorities?
Yes, where are we in Namibia right now? We have, I don't know, maybe more than 20% eating out of dump sites. Every Thursday, the truck comes to our street to come and get. There is someone that is depending on me to take out my dustbin so that they can come and search. That is where Namibia is. There is a university, there is a mother who sacrificed for 4 years paying university, or maybe even NASFAF or whoever funded. And after 4 years, you should, as a mother or as a parent or a guardian, you should be excited to say, now my child is going to come and help me. But what happens? That child leaves you now, goes back to the village and depends on the mother's salary. Or worse, they start now to depend on the 1,600 for the grandparents. So it's like all things are important, but there are things of priority. And this is a problem that I have with our government. They don't know how to prioritize.
Exactly.
That's where the problem
That is
is.
where I'm going to side with you. I have realized that we really, in this country, we have a few issues. Firstly, it is transparency. Secondly, accountability. Thirdly, our lack of prioritization. I don't know where we fell off the wagon. And it's so disheartening to the point where we are the ones who can feel the effects of it. People in our age group, our generation can feel it. It's so disheartening. Our grandparents fought for the liberation, for us to be independent. And now I've seen that now we have to fight this battle of economic emancipation. That we were born into this mess. We found ourselves here, and now suddenly we have to clean it up because our government has not prioritized these type of things, and it hurts.
Yes.
It is disheartening as a young person because now you also cannot find an internship and you have to graduate because it's part of certain universities' policies that you must do your work integrated learning. And now you cannot graduate because now you're sitting in this position because there are no internships. And then I have to go for an unpaid internship where I'm being exploited. Because I'm desperate and I'm a young person and I must get my papers, and it is disheartening.
Okay. Truthful. Thank you so much for such passionate stances. So now we're going to move to the next topic, which is about poverty alleviation and social welfare. Because when we talk about poverty, we also always just like to equate it to jobs and job creation and so forth, right? So about the basic income grant program, right? What are your stance on it when it comes to it reaching more young Namibians in need?
Okay, I can go first. Regarding
the basic income grant program.
Okay.
Yeah.
I honestly, for one, I feel like it's possible in our country. It's possible if larger countries are able to give their people a certain amount of money just because you're a citizen of the country. It's possible in our country, but we don't priority on the important things. We don't really, it's as if the whole issue of unemployment is not really something that is taken so seriously by everybody, and especially by those who are in offices where something can be done about the unemployment issue. So I think it's possible for us to have that money at the end of the month. It's possible for everybody. That's why I say that I say the cake is big enough for everybody to have it. But then when you have a budget released and 8 billion is given to railway, what are we doing with the railway? Are we going to eat railway? Because now the issue is people are hungry. And I'm not talking about any hunger but the hunger of the stomach. Have you ever gone to bed and you haven't eaten, even just because you are lazy to go cook? Hunger hurts.
Yeah.
Now you have a brother and a sister and a family that's depending on dump sites, you know?
Yes.
And so for me, I feel like it's very much possible for us to have that grant. And for now that we are apparently in this motion of job creation, what is the relief? Am I just, if it's going to take 10 years for a job to be created, does it mean for the next 10 years I'm going to be hungry and begging on the street? You know? So yeah, so what is the relief? What is that plan to say, okay, while I'm going to buy my house in Arsblik for 10 million, I can rent a 3-bedroom room or something in somebody's house while I'm gathering some funds. So what is the relief plan before we can get to the job creation? You know, that's the whole thing for me. And the money is in this country, except that the money is with certain people that are having, that are more benefited than others. That's the issue.
The implementation is poor.
Yeah.
Okay. So like while we're on the topic of poverty, we can also just tackle on what are the measures that have been implemented for the provision of essential services such as housing, water, sanitation. Because when we talk about poverty, it's not just about the hunger of the stomach. We have the houses, we have the school fees, we have all these things that contribute to poverty. So what are your stances on like what measures have been implemented to, you know, for the provision of this essential services to the young people or just to the people in Namibia in general?
Can I just say something on the income grant?
Yeah, no, definitely.
I believe through new policies that government can gain revenue from having a greater share in our minerals, let's say the mining and the fishery,
But do we have our minerals? Are they in our government?
That's what I'm saying. Through new policies, our government can get a greater share, and these revenues can be allocated to what is being to the youth that is waiting for jobs or looking for internships. So this revenue gained through a greater share in our mineral sectors, that money can be allocated to income grants. Yeah. That is what I wanted to add on the income grant.
But I want to applaud the SWAPO government in the schools.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. There's a bit of a challenge with school now that all the school fees relies on the government. So there's a bit of a challenge. But at least my child is able to go to school.
Even if they share textbooks.
Yeah, exactly. So there are quite some challenges in all of that. Maybe because money is not properly distributed or because we have dishonest people and we have all sorts of corruption and all of this. But I think it was a good initiative to actually have schools for free, because then it allows us to exercise and to enjoy our right to it.
There was an incident in the Kavango East region around early March, where a makeshift school had to be closed down, and learners had to walk an extra 900 plus meters to the new school. And there was it's still an ongoing issue. And I believe I issued a press statement at that time because I don't think our government understands, and I think it's a thing of our realities are probably different. I think the realities are a problem. We live in different worlds, clearly. Because when we look at education, it must be holistic. Yes, school fees are not being paid for. Wonderful, wonderful initiative. And we must commend the hoa-Let government for that, yes. However, in this government school, the funding is now gone from government, basically. No. Now, there's a reason why, as learners, we struggled to pay school fees. Yeah? There was a reason why we struggled. It's because we do not have. It's not because we don't want to. It's because we don't have. We do not have the resources for it. So now it's taken out. Now we have to pay school fees in different ways. Now we have to bring toilet paper, we have to bring those rims of paper, what contribution, what, constantly.
Yeah.
And we must understand that majority of these children, these learners in these government schools don't have.
Yeah.
And the cycle just continues, because we must also remember that I'm also coming hungry from home. And I'm also sitting there tired because I also walked for 900 meters plus. So I'm sitting there fatigued, physically, mentally. I'm sitting there hungry also. And the system is just failing me, because this new curriculum also is also just failing me. So is there a prospect for me to eventually succeed?
Can I add on the poverty alleviation? Through the office of the Prime Minister, I am from the Kunene region, so I am marginalized. Through the office of the Prime Minister, marginalized from the Kunene region, and not only the Kunene region, other regions that have that are considered as marginalized. So that is also a way of government tackling poverty. And then also the application forms, the employment forms, and other companies are encouraged to consider persons with disabilities. Our institutions facilitate persons with disabilities. Our ministries also facilitate persons with disabilities so that they can have access, have it to Home Affairs, whatever ministry they wish to get information from or help from. And then also we have the Ministry of Gender Equality. That one has done so much for our people. At the moment there is a center in Vreesblok where kids are taken there, you register, you tell the ministry that you are unable, provided you give your income, your pay slip, or you make a declaration that you are unemployed. These kids are fully under the ministry. Cosmetics, stationery, transport to the different schools is provided for these kids.
I just have a question in regards to that. We must applaud the Right Honourable Prime Minister's office, of course. This allocation that is provided.
Which one?
The besides the transportation, the money that is provided to the
ministry.
No, not to the ministry. To the kids now. How much is it exactly?
That I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that I don't know. But
I know kids get
even kids from my house.
From
they are
gender.
under
from gender.
$350.
From gender, that I know. I think.
Orphaned children.
No. Is it not
orphans,
just less privilege?
OBCs.
I think.
Get 350.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And then also through the Ministry of Trade.
No, that's gender. She's talking about it.
I spoke on the office of the Prime Minister.
Sorry.
Heading the marginalized communities, and then the Ministry of Gender, and then also through the Ministry of Trade, there are schemes where the youth that come straight from vocational centers or institutions, or anybody that is able or that meets the requirements of that are set by the Ministry of Trade, they pitch their business plan and they give whatever it is that is required. They are funded or they are given the equipment to start up their businesses. These are things that are happening. It's just a lack of information that people are saying, awareness that people are saying that nothing is being done. As well as the Development Bank of Namibia, if you are able to come there with a business plan and it meets the requirements, having it an already existing business or it's registered, Development Bank can look into that and you can be granted a loan to start your business. That brings us back to us as individuals. What do we do once government has done their part? What do we do once government has done their part? Do we just end there and then we say, okay, I was awarded the loan, or I'm given the equipment as startup capital for my business. What else am I doing? Because once you as an individual is awarded a loan, or you are provided with the infrastructure or equipment to start your business, it is your job to ensure that these business operations are the way they are prosperous, so that you are able to rope in another young person. What is it that we really do once government has done their part or a portion of what we expect from them? Do we really sit and think, now it's for me to really strive, as hungry as I was, now that I have this loan, now that I have the equipment, can I do something to grow or expand my business so that I can rope other young people in? So that is just the question to ourselves.
Yeah, which then it brings us to what, it brings us to what I like to title as the responsibility of a citizen in a democratic state.
Exactly.
Sometimes we go wrong, and I'm not trying to protect the SWAPO-led government or anything, but I think there are some initiatives from the government side.
Also from private sector.
Yeah, also from private sectors and all of that. But as citizens, do we take up our responsibility? Do we exercise our responsibility towards these initiatives, or just as a citizen in a democratic state, be it when it comes to voting, be it when it comes to opportunities and all of that? Yes. Because we are in a democratic state. You know, last year I had an initiative at UNAM where I used to go on the radio. That's when I was representing a certain party. And I used to go to the radio, and we used to have a discussion about democracy. What is democracy?
Yeah.
You know, democracy is almost like my mother parenting me. She's responsible for my life until a certain stage. If I want to leave Havana and go live in Ausblick, it's no longer my mother's duty. My mother is to take me to school and make sure that I go through school and all of that. Now I can build a life for myself. And that is government. Yeah. It's like a starter pack, for lack of a better word. There are some things that the government does, the private sector does, and then us, in response to these things, what do we do? Do we take up our responsibilities? Yeah. And then the other point that I wanted to point out was that I believe that there are good initiatives. I don't, it's not that the SWAPO-led government is doing nothing at all. There are good initiatives. But we have a sickness in the government, which is called corruption. I don't understand how is it okay for you for people just to steal and be okay with it. And the corruption is what is painting or covering the good initiatives with a dark cloud. Yeah. Because now the money that is allocated for children to go to school and be able to make a life for themselves, somebody has the audacity to steal the money.
Yes, so let's get our last opinion from Honorable William, and then we'll move to the next agenda.
Oh, Madam Moderator, you must allow the young lady to finish speaking. She's well within her rights. She must speak.
Do take notes, because this is this is a fresh perspective. Like, what are you doing to help yourself out? We cannot always be saying the government does, the government did. What have you done in order for the government to even intervene? You know, it's a fresh perspective.
Yeah, the young ladies here next to me, the capacitated young ladies, have very good views. And it really is a problem that corruption has tainted this country like this, where if young people even hear the word corruption, it excites them because it's something that they're really tired of.
Yeah.
And we must also acknowledge that the SWAPO-led government has also done a bit of their part. It's just some of them within the system are a bit corrupt and, filled with greed. But there are also those who are working, and we must commend them. We can't just say that nothing is happening. Colleagues, it is really very disheartening as young people.
Yeah.
It's very disheartening. And also, Madam Moderator, I see you're very quick to say yeah and shift the conversation. I see
that you guys are passionate
You're
about
very
this.
Can I just comment on the corruption? Yes, there I agree with you. It is very disheartening to really look at how resources and funds are being exploited. In the same vein, people are on trial regardless of their status in society, regardless of what offices they held or they are holding. They are held accountable. I am not at liberty to mention names, but we do read the news, we do follow current affairs in regard to trial proceedings and etc. That is something that is still a work in progress, but in regard to greed, there isn't really much control over how greedy someone can be, to what extent someone can really exploit or milk out of something. But yes, in regard to holding people accountable, I think we have showed the country that regardless of your status or public office that you hold, that if you are found with allegations against you, you will be held accountable and trialed, because we are in a just society. The laws do not say that this is a politician, this is a doctor, this is a
no one is above the law.
Yes, no one is above the law, and we are governed by a constitution, we are protected by a constitution. So that is
just to come back to what she said, I don't understand our population, together with the young people also. I don't understand our population, because we are tired of certain things. We are tired of our reality. We are tired of our historic experiences of poverty. But we don't grab opportunities when they present themselves. We don't. And I've seen that with young people. For example, the City of Windhoek Local Authority has council meetings the last Thursday of every month. Pertinent issues get discussed there. Council debates very serious issues. It can be affordable housing also. As we are sitting here, can we afford houses? Can we even afford houses in the next 10 years if one has to look at things like the repo rate also? But we will not make an effort to get up and go. Because even if water gets cut off, we would not know.
Get up and go where?
Get up and go attend council meetings.
Council meetings.
And they are open to the public.
Yeah, they're open to the public.
They're really open to the public, but we will not see young people sitting in that chamber.
The problem is that
responsibility.
Yeah, and then the problem is also young people, I don't know if they are not ready or they just are not willing
with
to.
empathy
but
as well.
Yes, they do not engage in democratic processes. And that one is really sad, because once you open Twitter, there's so much to say. Come
Twitter
November,
warriors.
yes, come November, you can count the amount of young people that are really willing to line up and exercise their democratic
You're going
right
very far.
to vote.
Start with June now with registration.
Yeah, registration. It's very sad. So for us that are already part of the democratic processes, this is not only for us here at the panel, anybody else listening, it is your responsibility to mobilize other young people to be part of democratic processes. The same way we are able to invite each other to festivities and etc. It is in the same energy and manner that we should also mobilize other young people to be part of the democratic processes. You cannot say that I don't do politics, I don't like politics. The economy,
it's going to affect you.
In everything you do, you will be affected by political decisions. Have it's locally or international political decisions or environment, not decisions like the international environment. If there is a war, if there is a global pandemic, even though you are saying you don't like politics, it will affect you directly or indirectly.
I think we come back to the definition of what politics is.
Yeah, and then as a government and
Even
as
democracy.
people, yes, as a government and as representatives from social enabled education organizations, we try and will continue to try mobilizing and educating the young people on civic education. That is, I think, all I wanted to say in that regard.
Yeah.
Are we moving on? I see the moderator is so ready.
No, I am listening.
I see she is so ready, but no, it's true. We don't realize how important our participation within the democratic process is.
Yes.
We don't realize it because politics is basically who gets what, when, where, and how.
Yes.
If the National Assembly can debate particular things in Parliament, things are tabled. Whether you're going to eat or not is getting tabled in the National Assembly. It is a political affair. Your entire life, our entire lives
Okay.
are affected by politics.
Having dealt with young people for quite a bit regarding political matters, what brings about that attitude is ignorance, lack of understanding,
Lack of trust.
Yes, and the corruption that is going on. So many young people they're just ignorant about politics.
Yeah.
And then you find those that are like, with the way things are, why would I even? With the way the SWAPO is so corrupt and taking over everything, why would I even bother myself? But we don't understand that in that same politics, that same democracy is the tool that we need to use if we so desire to revive Namibia.
Yeah.
This is
Your
what
vote counts. Your vote counts.
Yeah.
So if it's that they do not want a certain party in power,
The polls are open in
the
the
polls
show
are
up,
open.
yeah.
Line up and vote. It costs nothing to register.
If you're tired
to
of the
vote.
SWAPO party, get up, even move to LPM and we will make sure you vote for the LPM and you vote the ruling party out of power. Because we're tired as young people also. So use
So
your
line up and
democratic right.
vote. Yeah, line up and vote. It costs nothing. I think the ECN has also tried to really station registrations in our convenience.
Yeah.
Coming to your constituency, it's sometimes it's at the schools where we teach or where students are doing their SBS. Why can't someone just come from work or school and just line up and get a registration card? Come November, you exercise your democratic right to vote. You let your voice be heard through voting and not through social media. Because on social media, it is not loud enough.
Nothing basically, we can use that
Nothing
Twitter
can be
spaces,
done.
Yes.
we can tweet.
Yes.
However, it doesn't really change anything
It
within
doesn't
the
do
government.
anything, yes.
It's
What-
not a change of
yes.
policy, nothing. We have complained on Twitter, we have complained on Facebook, we have held our online discussions. Registration to vote is opening right now. We're 2 weeks away from the registration date opening. Will young people get up? And we must challenge young people to ask, if you're so tired, if you're so moved because we are most
Person, you are engaging in the democratic processes.
Yeah.
Matters that affect us, matters that affect
Bread
the
and
future.
butter issues.
The issue of bread and butter. I will gladly give you Honorable William's number and he will guide you as to what processes happen in their party to be a member of their youth.
And it's very
Be
easy.
part
After
of
this
something.
discussion, when the discussion is alive,
Yeah.
text me, colleagues, and we will make sure we get you the membership card.
Yes, it costs nothing. We are here to
If you're
mobilize.
tired of that party of the Almeida Shilongo, you are welcome with us. We are tired of that party. Just come, colleagues.
Young people, you are getting the message. It's no longer just time for you to just sleep around and be Twitter warriors. It's time for you to show up and show up. Action speaks louder than words. What we say today, come on, young people, you are getting the message. It's time to make a change. If you want to make a difference, be the change. Do the action. Go and vote. It will just take a day, literally. Anyway, so I think we've exhausted this topic. We'll move on to the next topic, which is healthcare, right? So let's talk about our healthcare systems. What are our stance on how to better respond to public health challenges affecting like our people, such as HIV and malaria? Yeah.
Through our trained and prepared the faculty of health, have it's nursing, pharmacists, dentistry, doctors, radiologists, and has prepared them to the maximum to go out there and really execute their tasks. to the best of their ability. We have taken in more students. Every year the institutions take in more students, more health students, nursing, IUM, the same. I think in regard to preparing our graduates for the industry, institutions have really done well.
Yeah, just to add more to what you're saying about the University of Namibia, we have what we call a healthcare week where they really just empower and just promote and just like educate the youth on different types of issues, when it comes to like the young people, HIV and AIDS, malaria, contraceptives and things like that. So if you're wondering where can I go, who can I approach, I'm insecure about something, approach the nurses at the University of Namibia if you are there, or we'll hear from our other honorables on more other institutions or hopefully other initiatives.
Is the question what is being done?
How can we better respond to our public?
I have a question for the representative from SOC.
Before
Go
the
ahead.
question,
Should I repeat the question?
yeah, like what is the what?
Okay, when it comes to our healthcare systems, right, how can we better respond to the challenges like HIV and AIDS and like malaria?
Oh, you narrowed it down to HIV and AIDS and malaria.
Yeah,
Okay.
especially among the young people. Yeah.
Are we aware that Namibia has just now been awarded or applauded to be one of the countries?
0%.
Yeah, transfer from mother to child, what?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not speaking this because Dr. Kalumbi is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But I think that man, even in his old age, he's really trying.
He's
Yeah.
heading that ministry.
He is.
Yeah, we can applaud him for that.
Man,
Yeah.
no, really, like he's working.
Yeah.
He's honestly working. Ever since I've gotten to closely look him up, there's always a clinic being opened somewhere.
Yeah.
At least that man, he is doing something. The ministry is not quite at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
He's out of the country, and he's passionate about it, and that's one thing I love about him. You can see he's a leader that is passionate about what he's doing. And there's always a clinic being opened somewhere there. There's always something being done, with regards to the health.
Yeah.
So I think in our health, as much as we might find loopholes or we might say this and that, and today under his leadership, the Katura Hospital is being renovated. How long have we been crying about it?
Yeah.
There we can really apply.
Yeah.
Also, in addition, government has made campaigns. NGOs have worked with government and private institutions to make campaigns to create awareness against malaria, HIV, not only the two, anything else. So we have really tried, and prevention for HIV, we can speak on sex education. It is in our institutions, taught in our schools. Government has made access to condoms, free condoms at any local clinic or state hospital. So in regard to health, we are trying. We are actually at a level where we can say we are applauding our government.
Yeah.
Yes, there is room for improvement, but
We should recognize.
we
what
should
they've done.
recognize and
Yeah.
give credit where it's
It's due.
due. Yeah.
Through recognizing, yes, we must applaud for the work being done, some of the work being done.
Yeah.
I'm very disheartened by the state of clinics and hospitals in the rural areas. There's no way that in a country 34 years post its independence that is the state of our rural hospitals and stuff, and clinics also. It hinders the access to quality health care. Greatly so. The state hospitals, and I can speak from experience, the state hospitals, the treatment, the response, everything is just so poor.
Yeah.
The treatment of healthcare givers.
Yes. How healthcare workers even receive you when you get to the. We must also
That's
speak
not a
about.
government.
But that's
Yeah,
where
no.
that's where it comes
That's why I
in. What
said
are we
we-
doing once government has done
Yes,
their part?
that's why I'm not attacking government on that one. I'm just saying, I'm pointing out an issue, ma'am. it's disheartening also. Also the state of the hospitals and clinics in rural areas also is also a problem.
Yeah.
But we believe that Dr. Kalumbi Shangula will come in and make sure, something is done.
Yeah.
Another institution that I would like to applaud in my personal capacity and not from the party capacity is the US Embassy and the projects that they run out through PEPFAR, Project Hope, USAID. We have seen, because I believe last year they also donated vehicles to the Ministry of Health. They also donated money for children who are suffering from malnutrition. That was out in the news, I think, yesterday or today. So we must also commend those type of institutions who come in to assist the government to alleviate these challenges that we face as a nation.
Yes.
So I think I believe we can say that in regard to health, we have made collective efforts.
Especially post-COVID.
Yes.
We have made collective efforts.
For a man that is in his 70s, I think
we have made collective
there are
efforts.
some when it comes to health, that ministry, I'll protect it with everything that I am.
Yeah.
It's not like
I second that.
Yeah.
No, let's not start there.
It's not like the Ministry
We should
of
not start
Education.
with that, but that Ministry of Education is where the problem is.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Yes. So now we can talk about the topic of rural development and land reform. Unfortunately, time is on our side, so we are going to have to keep this one brief, right? So what strategies has your party proposed to address the challenges faced by Namibian people in rural communities?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
What strategies has your party proposed to address the challenges faced by Namibian people in rural communities? And for honorable who's not representing any party, maybe she can just give us a brief solutions to the challenges faced by the Namibian people in the rural communities.
I don't think
Regarding
I understand the
rural
question so well.
What has your party done to tackle the challenges faced by the people in poor communities? Let me put it that way. What has your party done to just tackle the challenges faced by people in the poor communities? Maybe with maybe water, housing, food, all those type of things. What has your party done since the last elections?
On constituency level, budgets have been allocated to local authorities. When we speak on constituency levels, we have councillors from different political parties that are supposed to make collective efforts to better the lives of not only young people but everyone within the region. And as a government, we have encouraged and invested in infrastructural development. We have encouraged business owners to open not only businesses in city of Windhoek but also in other regions, so that can also tackle the issue of employment, infrastructural development within the regions. And when we speak of infrastructural development, we don't only speak of buildings and etc. Infrastructural development is roads, it's water, it's electricity. Those are things that we have tackled to satisfactory level, I think I can say. And
yes.
I think when it comes to rural development, not looking at infrastructure and all those physical stuff is having traveled a bit around Namibia as a young politician, you find that development sometimes is hindered by the individuals themselves because of a lack of understanding of just life in itself. Some people, the mind is just closed. In all honesty, like I'm not insulting anybody, but it does, even in your own personal life, when you are not well developed mentally in a particular area, it becomes difficult to develop in that area because you don't have sufficient maybe knowledge, or you're ignorant of it or something. So one thing I've seen in the political meetings that we would like host with people is that the members of parliament would be there talking, But when you look at the facial expressions of the people, you can see that this
Can I
one is
just-
not entering.
Can I just add something
Yeah.
before we give it all?
Okay. So it's important that also we just get that self-development. You know, I don't know, and I want to confess, I don't know a solution to this, but I realized that if your mind does not appreciate something in that regard, you will not appreciate that opportunity. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, in addition to rural development, the SWAPO party-led government has also increased the bush allowance. This encourages people not to only want to work in big towns or in the city, but also at local schools within the villages and hospitals, etc. This also then brings us back to infrastructural development. Once someone settles at a certain area and they are a teacher there or a nurse or a principal, etc., they contribute to the development of that town, not town but village or rural area, in the sense that they build houses there, or they tend to invest in livestock or agricultural investments. So when we look at rural development, we don't only really speak on housing, we speak on people going to work in rural areas and government paying them the bush allowance to work in rural areas. There I can really say I applaud our SWAPO party-led government.
You see, one thing I love about the LPM party is that it's a party that is 5 years operational now. Our first election was 2019. And when we got into National Assembly, we got 4 seats. With local authority, we truly penetrated our 2 regions in the south, as well as here in the city of Windhoek. We have 2 of our councillors as well. And I must commend our councillors for the work that they do, for a party that's only been working now for the past couple of years, for how they have addressed certain issues, especially in the rural areas in the south. It is very commendable, because we just came into to governing the local authority, and really one can see that work has been done. And also our party has a system that I'm very proud of, an accountability system. If you do not deliver, you are an elected official by the people. If your people are not happy, we will get you out. Because capacity must meet power. Because we are dealing with pertinent issues. We are dealing with land reform. We are dealing with alleviating poverty in rural areas. We want things like more schools to be built. We want our rural villages to also have tar roads. We are talking full on development. And I must commend the LPM councillors for the work that they do and continuously do. Also with them here on now the integration of Groot Hope to be part of the local authority as well, and the work that they continue doing. I can say that through the committees, the LPM councillors are working tirelessly to make sure that we also develop the Groot Hope area as well as our 2 regions in the south. So I'm very proud to say that my party has been working and it is continuing to work.
Another example on the development in rural areas, for instance, our UNAM Ongo campus, that's a university in a village. I mean, these
there are so many UNAM branches close to that.
There we have really tried, and we continue to strive and work, like you said, with councillors that are in this constituency level, to work together or make collective efforts to really bring development to rural areas. I mean, I should be able to see a doctor in my hometown and not travel all the way to Windhoek from Opuwo to see a doctor, have it's a private doctor or a doctor at the state hospitals. And these are things that are already in place. So there we really can applaud that we are moving at a rapid pace in regard to rural development as a government.
Yes, that is really truly impressive. So let's move to our last and final question before we wrap it up and we go to our houses, okay? So the last question says that what strategies do you have to reduce school dropout rates and ensure children stay in school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was wrong with the previous system? Where we didn't even develop, guys. We created more problems.
We created higher unemployment.
Yay, my dear. Because
We created higher unemployment.
No, we didn't.
Because now we have people dropping out grade 11.
Already, and that
Already.
is 17.
Yeah. Now
Not
if I
being able
reach
to transition to the AS level.
Now let me tell you one thing that I read in the newspapers. Our education system has this grade 11 thing. UNAM responds and says, we are not taking any grade 11 children, my dear. Go and finish your school. You know? So
Yeah.
there is no
And there's no space at
correspondence.
NAST.
Yeah,
Don't
there's no
forget that.
correspondence
There's
in
no
education system. Our education system is a mess, guys. I don't know how to best describe it. I don't know what has made whoever that has done it, I don't want to call names, to move us from the grade 12 system that we had to this grade
The
11
Cambridge.
and the grade 9 situation, because people are I'm sure that we have more dropouts
And it's not as
now.
if people are dropping out just willy-nilly.
No,
Yeah.
they
It
are
is the
kicked out. Yes.
Firstly, it is the inability to comprehend
Yeah.
the content.
Yeah.
Because if a teacher also struggles to comprehend this new syllabus, what about the learner?
The system is literally, let's not even use the word dropout. The system, it's like it's designed to kick out people.
You are being forcefully removed by the system out
Which
of the
then,
school.
which then cuts us off to enjoy our right to education.
It hinders
So,
development.
yeah, so
it
it's a
hinders
constitutional
GDP.
situation also going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True,
so
true,
for
true.
me, really, I have nothing good to say about the education system. No.
I think also
It has created a mess.
one other point I can add in regard to the dropping out beside now the new system.
Yeah.
It's tackling social issues, teenage pregnancy, drug and alcohol abuse, just the environment at home. What are we doing as parents or guardians or as siblings to really encourage young people to stay in school? The government has made provisions for contraceptives. This is now in regard to the teenage pregnancies. As parents, are we educating our daughters or our sisters on teenage pregnancy? Are we advising that they stand up and go to a local hospital and get these contraceptives? Or are we still on that topic of, or are we still left in an era where as parents we don't speak on contraceptives in our homes anymore? So if parents can also just come forward, government has done its best to provide contraceptives. Parents should encourage students to go on contraceptives. These are things we cannot control what young people do, but on matters of teenage pregnancy, we can try to tackle it if we make efforts as parents or guardians at home to meet government halfway.
Yes.
Yeah. And then in regard to alcohol and drug abuse, that is another pandemic.
On its own, and we have
That
been
is
struggling.
that is
Yeah.
another pandemic, regardless of the laws that are supposed that govern or that are supposed to protect young people against drug and alcohol.
Yeah.
It's something that we are struggling with, everybody.
Honestly, when it comes to parenting, which then also somewhat links into our education system,
Yeah.
I think it's a job for it's a societal thing, it's
Yeah.
a countrywide thing and all
Yeah.
of that. Because in Namibia, we have a lot of broken homes. We have fathers who ran away from their kids, and for God
Now
to
we have fathers who rape their kids.
yeah, now we have fathers
Yeah.
who are raping. So it's a whole mental thing. I remember asking Dr. What the health minister? Yeah, I remember asking Dr. Shingula. I said something about like mental health something, and they said that they do have a committee for it. But my thing is, it's not just a matter of having a committee on board or they're having a committee in the ministry.
What is happening
It's
on
the
the
work
ground?
being done. Because because there's a mess. The moment there's a mess at home, if in the house within itself there's a mess,
The mess will
on
find
the
its way out.
street there will be a mess.
Yeah.
At school there will be a mess. In government there will be a mess. That's why we have leaders who are okay with stealing from money from people. It's a mental health issue. That's why we need things like people like social workers to really go out there and do the work that they have studied to do.
You see, it's very disheartening. The other day I saw a headline in the Namibian reporting that there have been 9,077 teenage pregnancies in the last 4 years in the Ohangwena region alone. It is very disheartening.
One
because
region,
one region alone.
yeah.
It is very disheartening because as much as we talk, we must also realize and understand that in this era that we currently are, we must talk openly about these things, colleagues, to say that young people are engaging in sexual activity. But no one can tell me that these teenage pregnancies over the last 4 years, these 9,077 are only from consensual sex.
Yeah.
No one is going to tell me that because we know what is happening in these homes. Rape has become such an issue in our homes.
Yeah.
10 years ago, we could not talk
It's a
openly
mental
about
health
these things.
issue.
Yeah.
We
It's
couldn't
disgusting.
talk about these things, and it's so disgusting to hear that
It's
your
happening at
father
home.
raped
Family member,
Because
an
now-
uncle. It is so disheartening to see, and we must denounce these things.
The question draws down to what makes it okay for this uncle to rape a child?
Yeah.
A child.
So it comes back to it's a
Disgusting.
mental health
Yeah.
issue. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
And we
What-
must address mental health amongst men.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
yes.
now we give so much of training and all of this to the girl
to
child,
the girl child,
but we have neglected the boy child.
The boy
Yeah,
child.
we teach the girl child how to be, but we don't teach the boy child how to treat the girl child that we have taught how to be.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
We,
yeah.
we need to find a
In
balance.
fact, we must just dismantle the patriarchy. No, these are serious issues, and I see there have been jokes on our social medias, men's conferences, and men's conferences would be held. But what things are discussed at these men's conferences? Because clearly society has not shifted
Yeah.
to the right direction. There has been no shift. So these are pertinent issues, and mental health is one of the things that we must fight for as young people in political parties as well. In our personal capacities, we must come in and advise senior leadership that mental health is a very serious issue, and we can see the effects of it in our society and how things play out.
Yeah.
So yes.
Definitely. What an informative discussion from our honorables. So now we'd like to just have a closing remark, 1 minute each person, and we'll just close it off. Starting with
Should I start?
you, yeah.
For me, I believe we can do more in regard to educating ourselves. We should not limit ourselves to say, no, I am from the Faculty of Economics. I'm only limited to economics.
Yeah.
It should not be the responsibility of somebody else to come educate you on current affairs. It should not be the responsibility of somebody else to tell you that before you make a comment on a matter, have you researched? Do you know facts on this matter, or are you just making a comment because it seems like a joke or creating memes about it? So my message or my closing remark is that we should engage in current affairs. We should engage in the democratic processes. I mean, for instance, through the Ministry of International Relations, they have officiated late last year the diplomatic school under the University of Namibia, where postgraduate qualifications are there. So let us stand up, do this, be part of these things, engage with civic education organizations. I myself am part of this social enabled education under the Windhoek West Wing. So for anybody watching this, reach out, find people. And for the young people that are part of this youth engagements, because they are made available on any platform. Sometimes they are on Zoom, sometimes they are live on Facebook, sometimes they are, where were we last week? We were speaking on the German and Namibian colonial era.
We were at the Tabitha Center.
Yes, sometimes they are well within your reach. Transport money is provided by some of the civic education group organizations. I can applaud them for that. So it's a matter of when you see something, don't just skip it, because it could educate you on a matter. Lastly is the presidential elections that we're having in November. Let us mobilize fellow young people to be part of the democratic processes, exercise your democratic right to vote, be part of what your ancestors fought for you to be part of. This is what people were fighting for me to be able to stand up and vote, for me to be able to say I am part of a political party. I will not be punished because I am part of a political party. Politics is lovely. It's something I can passionately speak on. How is it that someone does not want to be part of politics if everything around us is politics? So for me, it's for my fellow youth, we need to be part of democratic processes and step in leadership positions, be groomed by mentors that you as a young person believe in, so that tomorrow when they are stepping down, you are able to take over and say, my mentor could not do this, but I can. Let your voice be heard through voting. So let us register for our voters cards, and we meet November 2024 and vote. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. No.
All right. So I introduced myself as an advocate for humanity that believes that the cake is big enough for everybody to have a slice. But the reality is that is only possible when we also, as young people and Namibia at large, in a democratic state, takes up our responsibilities. And one of those responsibilities is to vote. Whether we like it or not, unfortunately the situation is the way it is. But if we want to move from the way the situation is and to better things, the tool that we have in our hands is voting. We have to vote for the person that we feel, or that not even feel, forget feelings, the person that we know is capable. And the other thing is, the moment you fold your hands, you are saying yes to the current situation. Yeah. Yes, Namibia, let's continue the way we are. Yes, we love the high unemployment rate. Yes, we love the low wages and all of that. But when you get up, you educate yourself, like my colleague was saying here, educate yourself on political matters and dive into politics. Get to understand democracy, get to understand politics. And when you have voted and you see that you are not getting what you thought your vote was going to give you, learn to hold leaders accountable. It is your democratic right as a citizen of a democratic state. So that is a point that I really want to emphasize on in my last statement, to say that learn to take up your democratic rights, but at the same time be responsible enough as a democratic citizen.
Yeah.
What a strong statement from both these young ladies.
Thank you.
To close everything off, as young people, our exhaustion must not stop at the Twitter keyboard only.
Yes.
We are fast approaching registration dates for voting. Yesterday at the the presidential debate, we saw young people fill the room to the brim. The lines for registration and voting must also look the same. If we are tired, then we must exercise our democratic right to vote certain people out. If we are tired and we want a change in regime, that is where it's going to happen in November 2024. As young people, the time for us to radically change the system that we are so tired of on social media, the time is now, and the time to register is fast approaching. November 2024, the time to decide is almost now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, honorables. These are literally holy water. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to come and educate our youth and educate me as well. Youth, the message is clear. Participate, participate, participate. The time is now. We saw how filled the room was yesterday. Let's continue with the same energy. Let's break the chains of cognitive dissonance. Let's break the chains of stigmas. Let's educate ourselves, and it's time for us to stand up and actually do the action and not just be Twitter warriors. So vote, 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 and please educate yourself before you even vote. Like, know which party you're going to go for, know which candidate you're going to go for. Inform yourself on this decision. Let's go for competency and not just somebody because we feel like it, okay? Let's go for, qualification and competency.
Yes.
So thank you so much, dear viewers. I hope you guys got the message. I hope you guys were educated with this whole session. And hopefully we'll have you guys again someday.
Thank you.
Thank you.